Once upon a time, in a quiet village nestled beside a winding river, two girls grew up under the same roof. One was named Tam, gentle, kind, and always thinking of others. The other, Cam, playful and sometimes selfish, but not without a heart of her own. This is not a tale to blame or shame, but a story of goodness, patience, and a heart that never stops believing in what is right. Tam and Cam were stepsisters. Tam was the daughter of the first wife, who had passed away when she was young. Cam was the daughter of the second wife, who became Tam's stepmother. After Tam's father died, the stepmother made Tam do all the housework, sweeping the floors, cooking the meals, feeding the animals, while Cam played and rested. One day, the stepmother sent both girls to the river to catch tiny shrimp and fish. "Whoever catches the most will get a prize," she said. Tam worked hard under the sun, scooping the little creatures into her basket. Cam, however, played in the water and picked flowers on the riverbank. When Tam wasn't looking, Cam said, "Tam, you're all muddy. You should take a bath." Tam smiled and left her basket by the shore to rinse off. While she was in the water, Cam poured all the shrimp and fish from Tam's basket into her own, then ran home. Tam came out of the water to find her basket empty. She was heartbroken and quietly walked home with tears in her eyes. Back home, Tam sat alone and cried. One day, while washing rice by the river, she found a little silver fish. It looked up at her with shiny, curious eyes. She gently placed it in a jar and fed it rice every day. The little fish became her friend. When no one else would listen, the fish would swim close and comfort her. Cam and the stepmother noticed Tam sneaking out every day and followed her. When they saw the fish, the stepmother caught it and cooked it for dinner break. Tam was devastated. That night, as Tam cried, a kind old man with a white beard appeared in a dream. It was the wise spirit, often called the Buddha in old stories. He said, "Tam, dry your tears. Take the bones of the fish and bury them at the four corners of your bed. One day, they will help you." Tam did as she was told. Time passed, and though she still worked hard, she often found small gifts: a pretty scarf, a pair of wooden clogs, a silk ribbon waiting for her. One day, the village held a grand festival. There would be music, games, and even a visit from the young king. Everyone wanted to look their best. Cam and her mother dressed in their finest clothes. They didn't let Tam go and gave her so much work that she couldn't leave the house. As she sat alone, sad and tired, the wise spirit appeared again. "Would you like to go to the festival, child?" he asked kindly. Tam nodded, eyes bright with hope. With a wave of his hand, her old clothes turned into a flowing silk dress. Her hair was tied with a golden ribbon, and on her feet appeared delicate slippers. She smiled and ran to the festival. On the way, she crossed a small stream and lost one of her slippers. She didn't have time to find it, so she kept going with one foot bare. Later, the young king came across the tiny slipper while passing the stream. It was so small and beautiful that he declared, "I must find the girl whose foot fits this slipper." The king sent messengers throughout the kingdom, asking every young woman to try on the slipper. Many came, but none could fit it. When Tam's turn came, the slipper slid on perfectly. The king looked at Tam and was enchanted by her gentle eyes and quiet smile. He asked her to be his queen. Tam returned to the palace, dressed in royal robes, and began a new chapter in her life. Meanwhile, Cam and her mother were filled with jealousy. "Why her and not you?" the stepmother would whisper to Cam. Cam felt the bitterness grow in her heart. One year, during the season of family offerings, Tam asked the king if she could return home to visit her father's grave. The king agreed, arranging a visit to her childhood village. When she arrived, Cam and the stepmother greeted her with smiles, but their hearts were full of envy. They asked Tam to climb the tall areca tree in the yard to pick betel leaves for the altar. As Tam climbed, the stepmother quietly cut the tree down. Tam fell. She did not return to the palace. The king searched and grieved, but found no trace of her. Tam's spirit was too kind to leave the world in anger. She transformed into a bright red bird, a golden oriole, that followed the king everywhere. It sang sweet songs and perched near him. Cam noticed the bird and, out of jealousy, had it caught and cooked. But from the ashes, a tall tree grew in the palace garden, bearing sweet fruit. The king often sat under its shade. One day, an old woman selling soup found a golden fruit from that tree. When she brought it home, she noticed her house being cleaned, meals prepared, even though she lived alone. Curious, she waited and saw a beautiful girl step out from the fruit. It was Tam. The old woman kindly took Tam in as her own. When the king passed by one day, he smelled the familiar scent in the air. He entered the home and was overjoyed to see Tam alive. Back at the palace, Cam was shocked to see Tam again. But instead of shouting or seeking revenge, Tam simply smiled. "You don't have to be like Mother," Tam said softly. "We all make mistakes, but we can choose to be better." Cam was surprised. She had expected anger, not kindness. Her heart softened. She asked to leave the palace and return to live in the village. There, she learned to be helpful and kind, looking after her aging mother. The story of Tam is not one of revenge, but of growth, kindness, and quiet courage. Tam never raised her voice or fought back with hate. Her goodness, patience, and love helped her rise again and again, even after sorrow. Children listening to this story may remember, being kind may not bring rewards right away, but it will always lead to light. Just like Tam, who bloomed like a flower even in the hardest soil, those who stay kind, gentle, and true will always find their way to happiness.